Hello and welcome to WDR TV. I am your host, Mike B. It is the tail end of April. I apologise there wasn't a video last week of this, but there's a bumper crop today of all sorts of goodness because there wasn't really much going on last week. And I am now vaccinated. I had my Oxford AstraZeneca jab the tail end of last week, and it kicked the living bells out of me. It kicked the shit out of me. I felt rough, and I've been working during all that. Been a pleasurable experience. However, now I'm just waiting to develop my superpowers, and then woe betide anyone who gets on my tits. Coffee's friendly. Played. Let's do what I've been playing.
What's Mike played? I really want to know what Mike's played. What you played, Mike? Oh, and you other guys.
So played. In news flash-worthy territory, an exciting moment in development is I actually played a physical board game about, maybe even not this Sunday, gone Sunday before, maybe Friday, I don't know. Anyway, about a week or so ago, I sat down with Robbie, brother-in-law Robbie, and we played two-player Tapestry. Now, Robbie's in my bubble. His nipper goes to the same childminder as mine, so we're kind of, you know, we're bubbling, so it's fine. I haven't broken any water. Fuck it. Anyway, Tapestry. I really like Tapestry. It's the one Stonemaier game that I do like. Although there may be a second one, and I'll get into that later on. So Tapestry, really good. It's a Civ game. It's labelled as a Civ game. We've covered this before. It's not really a Civ game. It's like an engine building game. You've got this board. It's kind of cool. I really enjoy it. I like it. It's got variable player powers. It kind of has some game-breaking things going on, and it's all very Stonemaier game. Lots of random and chance and weird stuff. So, play two-player. I've not played a lot of two-player games. I didn't think Tapestry would work as two-player, but actually, I was pleasantly surprised. It worked quite well. It's kind of a little bit of a solo-ish experience when you're playing the game. There is definitely interaction going on. Far more interaction than a lot of the other Stonemaier stuff. But yeah, really enjoyed it. We didn't play with the Shadow Empire variant, which essentially adds a AI that kind of pushes the advancement tracks in certain ways. Was going to, but I read it and I thought, there's more rules. It's been a while. That's just play base Tapestry, and it worked perfectly fine. I will maybe at some point, if we get another two-player game, throw in the Shadow Empire variant, which I believe just progresses some tracks, just kind of speed up process and kind of put a bit of pressure on you, maybe getting stuff. But yeah, really enjoyed that. Really good fun. And once again, I do recommend Tapestry. I've raved about it a few times. It's good. It's good stuff. It's good. Yeah. I'm looking. I've got lots of stuff written down here. We also had to go. So played Lost Ruins of Arnac. I played that on Board Game Arena. It's free on Board Game Arena. You don't even need the premium account. It's from Czech Games edition. It's they're big sort of. It's got a lot of buzz of late, especially off the back of Spiel. It is similar to Dune Imperium. I'm pointing because that's up on the shelf. Unplayed other than in solo mode, may I add, which is a deck builder, but also combines worker placement and a combination, all sorts of interesting mechanics. All my favourite mechanisms kind of thrumming away together like a flux capacitor. But yes, it's done that. So I played it. It's a really good implementation of Board Game Arena. It's still a beta mode, I believe, but we didn't really have any glitches in it. It looks really well put together. And I really enjoyed it. I kind of really liked what it was doing. It is doing similar to what Dune Imperium was. That is worker placement, but you also get these cards. This deck builder, you're supposed to be kind of like Indiana Jonesy-ish sort of archaeologists going to these dig sites and uncovering stuff and doing things and all that sort of gubbins. And yeah, I thought actually, yes, I really enjoyed it. I played it through and I really came off that going, I quite enjoy what that's doing. Much like Dune Imperium. Where I sit at the moment with it, if I didn't have Dune Imperium, I would definitely be torn towards maybe picking that up. I think of the two, I still think I'm siding towards Dune without having a proper player there yet, I will acknowledge. But I like the theme and I like what that is doing more in those regards. I like the fight mechanism that's in that. Whereas Arnac, which looks stunning, I would imagine, in its board game version, and it looks cool on Board Game Arena. I don't know whether it's been playing it on Arena as you kind of lose that tactile nature of a board game. So it did feel very mechanical. The theme kind of dripped off of it because we were doing that. Perhaps the physical version playing that may have felt more themey. But solidly going around, the mechanics and what it's doing is really solid stuff. And you know, if you're on the fence between Arnac and Dune, I would say at the moment, certainly give it a blast at Board Game Arena because, hey, you can. I'm still siding towards Dune at the moment because I like the theme. I like some of the more what it's doing over what Arnac's doing, but they're both pretty solid games. So there's that. Other than that, me and Isaac have been diving into PS4. He's obsessed. We've finished Bloodborne. Now, I appreciate that for a nearly 3-year-old, probably Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, which is the only game I'm playing, it's not that appropriate. However, I was playing it one day and he came in and caught me playing it, and I was like, oh God, I'll turn this off because it might be scary. And no, he loves it. So it's now called Monsters, and we have to go, Daddy will go and bash monsters, which is great for me because every so often when I'm doing a bit of babysitting, I can sit and play PlayStation. Downside of that is he has a large rubber sword upstairs and he's enacted real-time monsters and nearly crippled me the other day. So that was fun. So that's all what I've played. Should we dive into some news? I think we shall. We should dive deeply into news as if we were John Holmes in a 1980s porn movie. That's how deep we will dive right now. Moving quickly away from that analogy. News updates. I had a few updates from Kickstarters I backed. Frosthaven is building and growing and into this amorphous mass of goodness. So there's the art, I love. They've really polished up the art and design and the tiles. They look much more just shinier. Everything about this is feeling like Gloomhaven was the low-budget, independent Roger Corman version of Isaac Childress's wonderful thing. This is Frosthaven is when a big studio has come along and gone, ooh, that was good, and just thrown money at him. It's a bit like George Lucas, I suppose. Star Wars was done, Seat of the Pants, Empire Strikes Back was just polished and more. This is kind of, it's frosty like Empire Strikes Back. Amazing, what a thing I'm doing here. It's all connecting together. Anyway, it is looking very cool. It's bigger, meatier, shinier, beautiful. It looks stunning. So let's hope it doesn't fall foul of sequelitis, but it is at the moment looking stunningly good. Other than that, I had an update from Arnac, which is my last final Call Me or Not back. I'm not going to back any more of theirs unless something really I just cannot miss comes along, because I kind of got a bit pissed off with how they do things. But yeah, Arnac is coming. It's Eric Lang's final part of his trilogy of Dudes on the Map games from them. We had Blood Rage, we had Rise of the Sun, now we've got Arnac, which is his Egyptian thing. It does look kind of cool, and they are doing, I mean, there's lots of bling in there. It's going to be boxes of oodles of boxes to come. So that's coming, I think, this year. So hopefully when we get our lockdown, I'll be able to sit and play it. Cool. Other news, any actual main news. So, Games Workshop are in the shit again. So essentially, Games Workshop put out Curse City, which was, I think, a bit like a big dungeon crawly thing. I never really followed it. I kind of, Games Workshop stuff, I do like some of what they've done. I do like they've definitely become far more fan-friendly than they were a good decade or so ago. Less corporate. But yeah, they put out Curse City, which I didn't really follow, but I think it's a Warhammer Quest related thing. It's a big sort of dungeony crawly type thing. Got a lot of buzz, there were a lot of pushing for it, and apparently it hit and it sold out, and they've turned around and said there's no more coming. And everyone's gone, what? The vicious rumour on the grapevine is it's related to Brexit, or definitely something related to that, is that miniatures are all produced in the UK, but all the actual other components in it, apparently getting them from wherever they're coming from, maybe related to shipping issues, maybe COVID, I'd imagine as well, it makes it not cost effective for them to do anymore, which they were bigging up Curse City as a new big line, and they were going to do lots of extra stuff with it, and now to suddenly see it kind of rug pulled out and it's not a thing, and now people can't get hold of it. Not a great look for them, but you know, whatever. That's what Games Workshop to a certain extent. They are expensive. I do like their miniatures. They're beautiful things. And some of the games are all right, but yeah, just expensive. And this shenanigans doesn't help. Anyway, so yes, Curse City, if you've been following that, you ain't going to be able to buy it anyway. I did see, just cry out to Mark Dainty, and I haven't actually watched his video yet, but he did the first put up a video for Vengeance. Oh, this is original base game Vengeance from Mighty Boards. So Vengeance was a Kickstarter game a couple of years ago. I was really drawn to it because I love the idea. Essentially, it's taken that Kill Bill aesthetic of the wronged samurai type character, the thing, the bride or anything else, essentially on their rage-fueled, vengeance-driven path to mayhem. And it's with some really cool mechanisms of there, like a montage scene in there that would build all your player powers. And then essentially it was a series of kind of like fights in these areas where you're battering down thugs and things to get to the boss and take them out. And kind of, that's it, really. Lovely theming, really good production design, really great. Everything about it, fantastic, but really marred by some just a bit clunky mechanically. It's heavy. Just a lot of kind of fiddliness. And it's a shame because I really dig what it's doing. And some of it was really good. And the theming just right up my alley, that exploitation sort of 70s vengeance-driven shit. Brilliant. But yeah, just a little bit fiddly and clunky, which meant that every time you're going to pull it out and play it again, you're kind of, it was a shame. So I own it still. I keep it in the collection. I haven't played it very often, very recently, purely because I love the aesthetic and that theming. And I can't bring myself to get rid of it because of that. But anyway, Mark Dainty did a review or preview of a roll and write Vengeance game by the same guys. I think Turksey was involved in it as well. Dave Turksey, who was behind Days of Ire and a bunch of other stuff. Anachrony. I didn't even know that was a thing happening, actually. So I need to go and have a look at it because I really, if it does well to evoke all the theme and all the good shit, streamlines down the process of the game, it could work. Could be quite interesting. So yeah, I might see if we can hunt down Turksey. Someone send me a print and play of that. Let me have a look at that now, please. So yeah, if I get a hold of it and get a look at it, I'll let you know. This, I have written shit all over there. The initiative. So Corey Konieczka, that's probably not right, but anyway, Corey was big lead designer on Twilight Imperium. Definitely he was involved in with Christian Peterson. He designed a ton of stuff. Battlestar Galactica. I think Eldritch Horror he was involved in, even Arkham Horror. I think he just really was one of the in-house big guns for Fantasy Flight, designing a bunch of really good stuff. He left, he set up his own company. And his new game, or his first premier game, The Initiative, is coming out, I think, the end of this month over here. Self-published thing for his company. I forgot the name of the company. It's gone out of my head, so I won't even attempt to embarrass myself trying to remember that. The Initiative, it is a bit of a legacy-ish game. It feels a little time stories. It is set in the 90s, about a bunch of teenagers find a board game that they play and then unlocks a mystery to something else that's going on. So it's a game, you're playing a game within a different time period, within a game, while exploring the world within that game, in a game. So that's kind of a cool setup. And you do actually get to play the game in the game, whose name, I can't think of the name now. Anyway, so The Initiative. I'm very tempted because Corey's stuff is fantastic. I really enjoy a lot of his designs. I really would like to support him on his solo venture. And this sounds kind of cool. And I think it's out for pre-order on a few sites now, so I may well take the punt. We'll see towards the end of the month. At the end of this week, I get my yearly annual bonus. May have to do some extravagant spending, depending on what it is. That list is filling up fast. So there's that cool. That's very cool. It's like the scattering madness of. Oh yes, so Kickstarter, other stuff going on. Monster Hunter World is on Kickstarter now from Steamforged Games. Red alert, red flag warning. I wouldn't back it in a million fucking years. Steamforged did Dark Souls, which I nearly backed. I backed it at one point and pulled out at the last minute. The old Catholic method of kickstarting, and it proved right because it was. I think it's still being delivered now. Just a clusterfuck, and they did subsequently done a bunch of other stuff. Horizon Zero Dawn that came out, lots of minis. I've not heard much about that. That buzz kind of fell off the cliff edge. I think they did Resident Evil, which I did hear a bit more buzz, but again is. I just don't dig them as a company. They seem to pull some real dick moves and don't really give a shit about stuff. I may be wrong, but from what I've seen from standing outside and being closely associated with some of the stuff they've done, I've seen nothing to make me change my opinion on them on that matter. So I would personally say, steer the fuck away from Monster Hunter, unless you really want a bunch of nice cool miniatures and the bare rudiments of a game latched onto that. Late. So that was that. So I mentioned earlier Stonemaier Games. Apparently, allegedly, they've got a trademark for a new game coming out in 2022, I think now. It's not going to be this year, it's going to be next year. And they've trademarked a Libertalia. So, vicious rumour what it being, and it seems likely, they've got a game in, I think, the second quarter of 22, which is called Sales, as its working code name. The feeling seems to be around the campfire is that Libertalia, who's long out of print, actually, is the game that Stonemaier are going to be reprinting, which is quite a departure, because usually they do their own. It's Jamie Stegmaier design. It's done a few things from other people. Elizabeth Hargreaves for Wingspan, and I know the Twin Sioux Cities was another designer. Anyway. So yeah, like an actual reprint. No, Libertalia, it's a fucking great game. It's a real shame this is out of print, and it was been out of print a couple of times, and I picked it up between printings a good few years ago, and it is ridiculously expensive now, apparently. It's a really great game. How or why this never got bigger acclaim, I don't know, and why we never got an expansion for it, I don't know, which maybe that will turn up with this reprint. So essentially, Libertalia is pirates, yay. You're on a pirate ship. It's done in such a way that you all start with exactly the same deck of cards that are prefigured, randomly created from a master set. Everyone starts, the players start the same deck of cards. They're cards that you play down, have a number on them and a power, a bit love letter-ish, and you play them on the boat, and they play out across a set order, in numeric order across the boat, and each of the effects of the cards affect other cards and other stuff. What you're essentially looking to do is pick good stuff up. Each day you go looting on your boat, that adds to your score. But the cool thing about Libertalia is at the end of the first round of play is you keep the cards that you've used, and a new set of cards, more new cards are added to people's decks. Again, everyone gets the same identical cards coming into their decks. However, not everyone will have played the same cards in the first round. So slowly as the game goes through, each player's deck of cards is slightly altering, changing. So you get this sort of, it's not really a deck builder thing, it's almost like a reverse deck builder, it's not reversed. Anyway, you got this cool kind of mechanism of as the game goes along, you don't know what cards people have retained or what they haven't, and it starts really thrumming. It's a great game, it's a really good game, it's one that you need to play a lot to get really the best out of. To understand those decks of cards and how they all work, but it's one that's very rewarding, very quick, very easy to play, and great. And it's really great that it is going to get reprinted. That puts me on the major issue now is, of course, if it does get reprinted, and if they do potentially do an expansion for it, it ain't going to fucking work with my fucking base game, is it? So who knows what Stegmaier's going to do with that. Like, they do like to bling their games out. I mean, it's art and that in that version is fantastic. So I didn't really say they can massively improve on the art, but I'm sure there would be lots of componenty modifications. I don't know, we'll see how that turns out. But that could be my second Stonemaier game I really like, because I really like that already. I may be tempted by that to just upgrade to a new version if all the stuff I've tantalised myself with comes to pass. So there's that. A couple of things that I've not been buying board games. However, I've bought some board games. I picked up Through the Ages, okay, which has been on my list. It's almost kind of a grail game, sort of, but it wasn't. It was definitely on the list, like a wish list, for some time, because I loved the idea of what it was doing. I know it's a meaty, more Euro-y kind of Civ game, Vlada Shivato, when he was actually producing some good games and not stupid fucking word games. This is the second version of it, of a new story of it. Kind of interested. 20 quid on Amazon. Yeah, so it was I saw it on Board Game Geek. Someone posted, it was essentially posted, everything was Through the Ages except the title of the game. It was Cosmo Accuracy or something. So I took a punt, because it was 20 quid. And it turned up, and it is Through the Ages. It's not a fake, it's a real Through the Ages. I've not played it yet. I set it up and was going to have a kind of semi-solo go with it, and my head hurt, so I didn't. But lovely. It is, I think, back on Amazon at the moment. If you can hunt it down for just over 20 quid, it kind of fluctuated. It went way up and then it's dropped back down again. Bargain, absolute thing. And in the same breath, I picked up the Kamit Tusetti, which is the expansion to Kamit, the one with the black pyramids, adds the black power into there. And a bunch of other stuff. This was really expensive for one period of time. It turned up, again, I think it was about 15 quid. It was listed as Spanish. I do know that Matago stuff always comes with multi-language rule books in it, so you get one for every language. I know the components are language independent. So yeah, that turned up, and yes, as I expected, perfectly fine. Language independent components, all the rule books in there for the different languages. Fantastic, because I've been after that for a while. It's not in print anymore because they did the reprint of Kemet, so I didn't think I was ever going to get this. Yay for me. Very happy with myself. Well done. So that's that. What else has been going on? Just quick stuff. I mentioned Grail Games, so I will be dropping my Grail Games videos. Video of all of my 10 at the current point in time Grail games that I've been kind of forever seeking and looking out for. That will be dropping this week. It is mostly edited. I've just got to fuck around with it a bit more. That'll be out at some point this week. And speaking of Grail stuff, I managed to track down one of my Grail DVDs. Go Tell the Spartans, starring Burt Lancaster, 1970s Vietnam movie. I saw this on TV probably in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, but I think it's late 80s, maybe early 90s. I've never seen it since. It tells the true story of one of the early skirmishes in Vietnam. A squad that go out there, basically all get fucked over big time. I remember it lingering me as it being quite brutal. It had Mark Singer from Beastmaster in it. And I was really into Beastmaster at that point in time as well. And just, I'd not, at that point in time, because I was quite youthful, encountered that many kind of gnarly Vietnam War movies. Obviously, more would subsequently follow. Apocalypse Now, I'm sure I would have seen around about the same time. But yeah, this type of movie is quite a nihilistic movie. Not many people walk out at the end of it. There's pretty much death and carnage and thing. And it stuck with me. I've never seen it since. But it was one of them that launched up here. It's always been available, but it's been really fucking expensive. Managed to track down a DVD of it for a couple of quid. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it this week, hopefully. So we shall see if any of my rose-tinted memories are worthwhile or, in fact, if it's a duck. But we'll see. But yeah, Go Tell the Spartans. I remember it being great. Whether it still is, who knows? So anyway, Grail Games video will be coming out this week. There's also, Charlie's got 2 vids coming. I've got to edit them up for him. It's Black Armada's subtitled. It's definitely some reviews and some playthroughs, some stuff. Don't forget, Charlie's Kickstarter is still running, I think, for the remainder of this week and a bit more next. Explosion High, if you're not back that, might be worth looking for. It's funded now, heading into goals. Things, stretch goals, that's the word I'm looking for. And that's it. Other than that, I watched Love and Monsters on Netflix. That was really good. Really enjoyed that. It was quite light, post-apocalyptic thing. Really cool creature FFX in it. And just a really entertaining watch. Just fun. That was worth a pick up if you want. If you've got Netflix, hunt down Love and Monsters if you've not seen it. I really enjoyed that. And me and son number 1 started on Battlestar Galactica. So we watched the first part of the pilot movie almost, and then just a lot of stuff's happened, so we haven't had a chance to watch any more, but we will dig further into that. There's other stuff, but anyway, so there we go. That's a catch up. That was a whirlwind, wasn't it? I think it might be. This has been Who Dares Rolls. We will be catching up again real time soon, I'm sure. Thanks for tuning in. Hello to all the new subscribers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's the Who Dares Rolls webpage. There's the Patreon thing, you know. That's it. I think that's it. I'm tuning out now. Have fun. See you soon. Stay safe out there. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.